afternoon, everyone. Today we will be conducting the pre-bid conference for civil work projects. To start with, please all stand for a prayer.
For our attendees, we have our back chairman, Engineer Nate Tabiano, our vice back chairman, Francesca S. Malcon, our backset member, Engineer Troy William, our back member, Engineer Troy Villanueva, Little Elidura and Zulia, Ms. Joy Guspar. And for our DPWH member, we have Giovanni Servano, Engineer Ron Ortiz, Engineer Ivy Soliesta, Engineer Leah Joy Galindo, and Ms. Gail Candice Cañete. And for the representative from the Planning and Design section, we have Architect Emmanuel M. Ploma. We don't have any attendees for our any representative from the prospective bidders.
Contract ID 24GE0076. Construction of multipurpose building. Reconstruction of multipurpose building, Sports Arena, Provincial Capitol Grounds, San Miguel, Jordan, Guimaras. Location, San Miguel, Jordan, Guimaras. With an ABC of 79,200,000. Source of funds, regular, agency fund, general fund, new general appropriations, specific budgets of national government agencies. Contract duration, 240 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0076. Part B, other general requirements. Part C, earthworks. Part D, reinforced concrete. Part E, finishing and other civil works. Major categories of works for 24GE0076. Buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Similar categories of works. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast and place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, cast and place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame. Buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. The required pickup license for 24GE0076 are as follows. Size range, medium B. License category A. Single largest project, above 50 million, up to 100 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost up to 200 million pesos. General conditions of the contract. Notes on the general conditions of contract. The general conditions of contract in this section read in conjunction with the special condition of contract in Section 5 and other documents listed therein. Should be a complete document expressing all the rights and obligations of the parties. Matters governing performance of the contractor, payments under the contract, or matters affecting the risks, rights, and obligation of the parties under the contract are included in the GCC and special conditions of contract. Any complementary information which may be needed shall be introduced only through special conditions of contract. Number 1. Scope of contract. This contract shall include all such items, although not specifically mentioned, that can be reasonably inferred as being required for its completion as if such item were expressly mentioned herein. All the provisions of RA number 9184 and its 2016 revised IRR, including the generic procurement manual and associated issuances, constitute the primary source for the terms and conditions of the contract and thus applicable in contract implementation. Herein clauses shall serve as the secondary source for the terms and conditions of the contract. This is without prejudice to Section 74.1 and 74.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, allowing the DPWH to amend the IRR, which shall be applied to all procurement activities, the advertisements, posting, or invitation of which were issued after the effectivity of the said amendment. Number 2. Sectional completion of works. If sectional completion is specified in the special conditions of contract, reference in the condition of contract to the works, the completion date, and the intended completion date shall apply to any section of the works. Number 3. Possession of site. The procuring entity shall give possession of all or part of the site to the contractor based on the schedule of delivery indicated in the SCC, which corresponds to the execution of the works. If the contractor suffers delay or incurs cost from failure on the part of the procuring entity to give possession in accordance with the terms of this clause, the procuring entity's representative shall give the contractor a contract time extension and certify such sum as fair to cover the cost incurred, which sum shall be paid by procuring entity. When possession of a portion is not given by the above date, the procuring entity will be deemed to have delayed the start of the relevant activities. The resulting adjustment in contract time to address such delay may be addressed through contract extension provided under Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184. Number 4. The contractor's obligations. The contractor shall employ the key personnel named in the schedule of key personnel indicating their resignation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 and specified in the BDS to carry out the supervision of the works. The procuring entity will approve any proposed replacement of key personnel only if the relevant qualifications and abilities are equal to or better than those of the personnel listed in the schedule. Number 5. Performance security. Within 10 calendar days from receipt of the notice of award from the procuring entity, but in no case later than the signing of the contract by both parties, the successful bidder shall furnish the performance security in any of the four prescribed in Section 39 of the 2016 revised IRR. The contractor by entering into contract with the procuring entity, acknowledges the right of the procuring entity to institute action pursuant to RA number 3688 against any subcontractor, be they an individual, firm, partnership, corporation, or association, supplying the contractor with labor, materials, and/or equipment for the performance of this contract. Number 6. Site investigation report. The contractor in preparing the bid shall rely on any site investigation reports referred to in the SCC supplemented by any information obtained by the contractor. Number 7. Warranty. In case the contractor fails to undertake the repair works under Section 62.2.2 of the 2016 revised IRR, the procuring entity shall forfeit its performance security, subject its properties to attachment or garnishment proceedings, and perpetually disqualify it from participating in any public bidding. All payables of the GOP in his favor shall be offset to recover the cost. The warranty against structural defects failures, except that occasioned on force majeure, shall cover the period from the date of issuance of the certificate of final acceptance by the procuring entity. Specific duration of the warranty is found in the SCC. Number 8. Liability of the contractor. Subject to additional provision, if any, set forth in the SCC, the contractor's liability under this contract shall be as provided by the law of the Republic of the Philippines. If the contractor is a joint venture, all partners to the joint venture shall be jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity. Number 9. Termination for other causes. Contract termination shall be initiated in case it is determined prima facie by the procuring entity that the contractor has engaged before or during the implementation of the contract in unlawful deeds and behavior relative to contract acquisition and implementation, such as but not limited to corrupt, fraudulent, collusive, coercive, and obstructive practices as stated in ITB Clause 4.
Number 10. Daily works. Subject to the guidelines, confirmation order in Annex A of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184, and if applicable as indicated in the ECC, the day works rates in the contractor's bid shall be used for small additional amounts of work only when the procuring entity's representative has given written instructions in advance for additional work to be paid for in that way. Number 11. Program of work. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity's representative for approval the said program of work showing the general methods, arrangements, order, and timing for all the activities in the works. The submissions of the program of work are indicated in the ECC. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity's representative for approval an updated program of work at intervals no longer than the period stated in the ECC. If the contractor does not submit an updated program of work within this period, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the ECC from the next payment certificate and continue to withhold this amount until the next payment after the date on which the overdue program of work has been submitted. Number 12. Instructions, inspections, and audits. The contractor shall permit the GOP or the procuring entity to inspect the contractor's accounts and records related to the performance of the contractor and to have them audited by auditors of the GOP or the procuring entity as may be required. Number 13. Advance payment. The procuring entity shall, upon the written request of the contractor which shall be submitted as a contract document, make an advance payment to the contractor in an amount not exceeding 15% of the total contract price to be made in lump sum or at the most through installments according to a schedule specified in the ECC, subject to the requirements in Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184. Number 14. Progress payments. The contractor may submit a request for payment for work accomplished. Such request for payment shall be verified and certified with the procuring entity's representative or project engineer, except as otherwise stipulated in the ECC. Materials and equipment delivered on the site that are completely put in place shall not be included for payment. Number 15. Operating and maintenance manuals. If required, the contractor will provide the skilled drawings and or operating and maintenance manuals as specified in the ECC. If the contractor does not provide the drawings and or manuals by the date stated above, or they do not receive the procuring entity's representative's approval, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the ECC from payments due to the contractor.
Special conditions of contract. Notes on special conditions of contract. Similar to the BDS, the clauses in these sections are intended to assist the procuring entity in providing contract-specific information in relation to corresponding clauses in the GCC found in Section 4. The special condition of contract complements the GCC specifying contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity, the procuring entity's country, the sector, and the works procured. In preparing this section, the following aspects should be checked. A. Information that complements provisions of the GCC must be incorporated. B. Amendments and or supplements to provisions of the GCC as necessitated by the circumstances of the specific purchase must also be incorporated. However, the special conditions which dictates or negates the general intent and purpose of the provisions of the GCC should be incorporated therein.
Notes on specification. A set of precise and clear specification is a prerequisite for bidders to respond realistically and competitively to the requirements of the procuring entity without qualifying or conditioning their bids in the context of international competitive bidding. The specification must be drafted to permit the widest possible competition and at the same time present a clear statement of the required standards of workmanship, materials, and performance of the goods and services to be procured. Only if this is done will the objectives of economy, efficiency, and fairness in procurement be realized, responsiveness of bids be ensured, and the subsequent task of bid evaluation facilitated. The specification shall require that all goods and materials to be incorporated in the works be new and used of the most present or current models, and incorporate all recent improvements in design and materials unless provided otherwise in the contract. Samples of specification from previous similar projects are useful in this respect. The use of metric units is mandatory. Most specifications are normally written especially by the procuring entity or its representative to suit the works at hand. There is no standard set of specification for universal application in all sectors in all regions, but there are established principles and practices which are reflected in these PBDs. These are considerable advantages in standardizing general specification for repetitive works and recognized public sectors such as highways, ports, railways, urban housings, irrigation, and water supply in the same country or region where similar conditions prevail. The general specification should cover all classes of workmanship, materials, and equipment commonly involved in the construction, although not necessarily to be used in a particular works contract. Deletions or addenda should then adopt the general specification for the particular works. Care must be taken in drafting specification to ensure that they are not restrictive. In the specification of standard for goods, materials, and workmanship, recognized international standards should be used as much as possible. Where other particular standards are used, whether national standards or other standards, the specification should state that goods, material, and workmanship that met the authoritative standards, in which ensure substantially equal or higher quality than the standards mentioned, will also be acceptable. The following clause may be inserted in the SCC. Equivalency of standards and codes. Wherever reference is made in the contract to specific standards and codes to be met by the goods and materials to be furnished and work performed or tested, the provisions of the latest current edition or revision of the relevant standards and codes in the effect that shall apply unless otherwise expressly stated in the contract. Where such standards and codes are national or relate to a particular country or region, other authoritative standard that ensure a substantially equal or higher quality than the standards and codes specified will be accepted, subject to the procuring entity's representative prior review and written consent. Differences between the standards specified and the proposed alternative standards shall be fully described in writing by the contractor and submitted to the procuring entity's representative at least 28 days prior to the date when the contractor desires the procuring entity's representative consent. In the event the procuring entity's representative determines that such proposed deviation do not ensure substantially equal or higher quality, the contractor shall comply with the standards specified in the documents. These notes are intended only as information for the procuring entity or the person drafting the bidding documents. They should not be included in the final bidding documents.
For drawings and bill of quantities, please see the uploaded files on PhilJEP's and DPWH website. These are the documents comprising the bid: legal documents, PhilJEP's registration, SEC registration or TTI registration, mayor's permit, and tax clearance. Technical documents requirements: statement of ongoing contracts, statement of either single largest completed contracts, pickup license or special pickup JV license, bid security, and organizational chart. List of contractors' major equipment. List of contractors' minimum materials testing equipment. Omnibus sworn statement, ITR and financial statement, NFCC computation, and valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Financial documents requirements: financial bid form, bill of quantities, detailed estimates including summary sheet, and quarterly, monthly cash flow and payment schedule. All documents shall be printed in A4 format, tabbed and bounded. Please attach the bidding documents in the technical component of your bid. For bids to be submitted electronically online, the following procedure should be observed following DO 87 series of 2020. Number 1. Submission of electronic official receipt of purchase of the bidding documents. Number 2. Confirmation of the electronically submitted official receipt. Number 3. Preparation and submission of an electronic bid. Number 4. Modification of an electronic bid. Number 5. Non-participation in the bidding. Number 6. Withdrawal of electronic bid. Number 7. Opening of the electronic bid. Number 8. Fund name convention in case of a joint venture bidder. Bid opening for 24 GE 0076 shall be on May 2, 2024, Thursday, 9 a.m. at second floor bidding room, DPWH Guimaras District Engineering Office, San Miguel, Guimaras. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend. Late bids shall not be accepted. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the BDS. Bids must be duly received by the Bank Secretariat for manual submission or at electronic bids _Guimaras at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on or before May 2, 2024 at 9 a.m. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 18. Clarification for the projects. Since there's no representative from the prospective bidders and no clarification,